going. And yeah, so happy Friday to you. Um, we're doing a little experiment here, and we're moving over the Coding Zeal stream over to my channel because, you know, unfortunately, with the Coding Zeal stream, it only happens once every Friday, so there isn't as much viewership, or there's not as much exposure other than that 1 hour to 2 hours every week. So we're going to move it over to this channel and stream from here because better recognition and exposure, hopefully. But so since we're going to be continuing doing the Coding Zeal streams, I have a little Coding Zeal a little Zeal logo right there just to brand it, just to, just gives a little rep. And we'll continue working on the various packages and stuff like that for the stream. So we're going to continue work on the Notion, Thin Notion API package that we've been progressively building up and, learning and growing and making all the more awesome. So that's what we're going to continue with now. So let's go ahead and switch screens. And we have our screen up and running. Let me just shift this over a little bit so we can see that. Move this over just a little bit. And yeah. So where we left off the last time, let me go ahead and close Zoom so it's not an extra tab, is we started working on the blocks integration. So had knocked out databases and pages and moved on to blocks and implementing the API endpoints to request various information. So, and here we are. So where we left off is we did retrieve block. And I believe we should have that tested, which is right here. And we grabbed the Thin Notion test workspace block, and that passes, but this is stubbed, or this has been mocked. This is using VCR or XVCR to record the request, external request. And we had successfully done that. So let's see here. So block ID, block identifier, and retrieves a block object using the ID specified. If a block contains the key has children, use retrieve block children endpoint to get the list of children. Okay. So that's complete. I feel like that's straightforward for the most part. And we'll just keep on moving on to the next one. So I'm going to save update a block for last. So we'll stick with, we'll do retrieve a block next. And then we'll jump over to update a block, append a block, delete a block. Let's see how that goes. And a block, if I remember correctly, can be any sort of thing. A block object represents the content within Notion. Blocks can be text, lists, media, and more. A page is a type of block too. I feel like I want to add that to the description, to the top right here, even for me, so we remember exactly what a block is. And then let's add some documentation to this also. I want to see how I added documentation for a database and stuff like that. Whoops. At doc Retrieves a block object using specified ID. And then we'll just copy this example right here. Then Notion. I don't have actually a method to get blocks. I have retrieve. Okay. Okay. Get a Copilot. You're being kind of annoying. Block ID. And this should return back an okay. And some block info. All right. That's our docs. Now on to the next endpoint, which is retrieve block children. Let's see. So retrieve block children has that. Looks like we take care of some query parameters. Returns a paginated array of child block objects contained in the block using the ID specified. In order to receive complete representation of a block, you may need to recursively retrieve the block children of child blocks. Returns only the first level of children for a specified block. See block object for more details on determining if the block has nets of children. See pagination. Okay. So let's go ahead and so retrieve block children is what we're going to be calling this. Retrieve block children. GitHub Copilot's really putting in some work. This is the first time it's ever tried to like fully autocomplete like this, which is pretty cool. Copilot's actually being helpful for Elixir. Usually, I would say a week ago, Builder Argus, it kept on trying to do Ruby. For whatever reason, it was inserting Ruby code. But now it's actually inserting in useful stuff. So we got the block ID, start cursor, and page size. With a maximum of 100. We'll go ahead and try defaulting this to 100. Go for the max page size. Talk about doing advent of code by letting Copilot do all the work. I feel like part of it is possible if you write the comments well enough, it might understand what you're trying to do. And it depends on how fast. And then the other thing is it depends on how fast the model is trained on Copilot, because people are committing their advent and code solutions to GitHub and making it, publicly available. So if the Copilot model updates, on a daily basis, let's say, or even a weekly basis, if you start the advent and code challenges later, it might just start auto completing for you because it's already been trained on that specific problem set. So we have to pass in our query parameters as this. There we go. Or just do the 2021s. What's up, Brett? How you doing this fine Friday? So yeah, so we're just doing block, start cursor, page size. Part of me feels like I want to do this as a map, like these query parameters, but these are kind of hard requirement. At least this is a hard requirement. This one isn't. But we'll see what happens, because this is actually kind of like a type, right? Like this map here can be considered a sort of a struct type where it requires start cursor and a page size. But we'll stick with this. Let's see, start cursor. If supplied, this endpoint will return a page of results starting at the cursor provided. So start cursor could be null also, which is which leads to interestingness. Let's see here. Let's write our test out for this. Get retrieve block children, retrieve block children. Retrieve block children, and then we do that. So we want to get the block children for this block up here. This block up here is our Thin Notion API workspace. So it is this one that I created that we are interacting with, this guy right here, this whole thing. So technically it does have children. It has a bunch of pages. It has this element right here that says hello world also. So what do we expect to happen? So it's going to be an objects type list, and it's going to have results in it. Object, well, I guess it's response, object, lists. And then what's going to go on here? We have results. And then we're just going to have a bunch of different things in here. So I expect potentially to see the first result to be that hello world thing. I forget if we ended up making any test helpers for certain things. Okay, we didn't. I remember in the past I was thinking about doing this, but we want to get in this object. We want to get the results, and then after we get the results, want to grab enum, or is it? It's a list, so I think we can do like a list first, just passing in that, and then after that, in the list first one, I want to grab the object, or let's see. I'm curious to see what the object is going to be considered. So get in. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, actually. So we want to get in and grab the object. Actually, that might be a little too big of text. And let's see what happens here. So Doppler run mix test. So I'm going to hide my screen real quick because in case it runs a test and something errors and it leaks my bearer token, which it did. It's because I forgot to, it failed because I forgot to tell it which cassette to use properly. So get retrieveblockchildren. That's the cassette we want it to use. The cassette's not going to exist, so it's going to create a new one. So we're going to go ahead and run that again. I'm going to hide my screen just to ensure that it doesn't leak my secrets again. Let's see here. Any secrets leaking? No. All right, so we got an error. The no match for the right-hand side value of code validation, query validation. Start cursor should be a string or undefined. Instead, it was 0 dot object error object status 400. So it's complaining because the cursor, the start cursor, it was an invalid value. So that's the problem we have here. We're passing in start cursor, but start cursor isn't defined, so we don't. So it's like don't even add it in. So let's see here. So should be a string or undefined. But what happens if we make it a empty string out of curiosity? So let me run this again. It still doesn't like it. Same issue. All right, so let's see what happens if we don't include the start cursor and we just pass in the page size. So again, hide. Validation error, query fair, start cursor should be a string or undefined. So I ended up getting the same error. Actually, I might need to delete the cassette because I think it's using the cassette and it recorded the failing request. So let me remove the cassette. Let's try it again. And I got a completely different error. It just says killed on it. Let me try this one more time. Yeah, so you got a completely different error. It just says killed PID. So on line 20, which is this test here, so something happened here that it's not happy with. So I am going to comment back in this cassette, and then I am also going to delete the fixture for this. And we're going to run this again. Oh, progress has been made. It looks like the request was happy. We went through and it failed because the object I said lists, but it's a list object. and then expected so it is a block. And then there's a bunch of other information we probably want to assert on here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this fixture to look at the shape of the data. So here's the data right here. Has children false. And it looks like it's a paragraph type. So for our assertion block, and then it's going to be, the type is going to be paragraph. And then in there, it's going to have the value. So the object was block. Let's see. So type, object was block. And then that means that the type is paragraph. Like that. Let's run that test again. Great. And then I want to validate that it says hello world on there. So from type goes to paragraph. So this would be paragraph. And then, so then we're in here. And I'm going to intentionally run this, expecting this to fail. So we can see what the structure looks like. So then it's still following the same thing of text. So it's text, and then that's an array with an object in it, the map, another map in here, and then we want to grab the plain text. That's fun. So the paragraph returns back this, and then we want to grab text out of that. That's going to return back an array where we need to do list.first. And then that's going to return, and then that is going to, and then out of that, we want to grab the, want to do a get in for the plain text. Now that is reaching in hello, and then we're saying hello world, I believe, in the Notion doc. Hello world with an exclamation mark. Now that is a chain of that is a chain. I want to do that so we can see it. Oh, it's lowercase w. Sorry. Alrighty. Okay, so that whole thing works. The thing we need to get working next is we need to test start cursor again. So we're going to test what happens if we do an empty string again. I'm going to delete the original cassette, and we'll see what happens on this request. So it definitely doesn't like even an empty string. So need to just build on this to, because nil's not equivalent to undefined. It wants either should start be a string or undefined instead of 0. So we should just not include the page size or the start cursor if it's not there. All right, so there we go. There's Codepilot thinking that we're dealing with Ruby, unfortunately. That's not good. So this, you can't, there's shortcuts to mutate a map. See, we haven't been doing too much Elixir stuff, so now my brain is melting. So this isn't correct. Enum. Let's look up Elixir enums. Calc and cat. Inserts a given enumerable into a collectible. So maybe we do into. Let me look at map. Mop. Up mao. Mop. There we go. We got put new. Given the value under the key unless the entry key already exists in the map. We do put. Updates the key with the given function. The key present in the map, then the existing value is passed to the function, and then it results as use a new updated that. If the key is not present in the map, a key error exception is raised. Okay, so we put. So we want to do map put T-Swift. Translation again soon. Yeah, I'll send you a message over the Discords. Hopefully you are doing well, T-Swift, and you've been enjoying your streams. Start cursor. So we're gonna put in start cursor, and not as that as a string. And we put in the start cursor. Do 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 do. If the key blah blah blah. And that's going to return back a new params that we want. What type of monitor setup do I use for coding? I typically have a 2 monitor setup for coding. I can't have more than, but I do have a third monitor off to my left over here that's really big that we got from our office, from our local office before it closed because of COVID. We used to have a small little office, a workspace, and I used this monitor at work because it was like a 32-inch ultra wide, and once because of COVID and no one was everyone had to stay inside. I took the monitor home, so I have a third monitor. So the third monitor, so now I have a 3 monitor setup, and then the third monitor is so wide that it can have a second monitor, like it can function as 2 separate monitors. So I actually have I have a 2 PC setup. So I have a streaming PC. So I actually have the streaming PC monitor connected to the ultra wide as half of it. It's enormous, yeah. Yeah, like it's really cool, like because the ultra wides you can basically it's 2 monitors in one. You can treat it as 2 separate monitors. You can plug in 2 separate computers and have them side by side on the monitors. So that's what I have. But yeah, having 2 monitors set up because there's coding, and then on the second monitor is to have like Slack and email and stuff like that on the side to keep an eye on that, getting all those messages and stuff. All right, so we updated the way we handle params. So now we're just passing params like that. Why is this getting squiggly line mad here? Unexpected reserve word end. There we go. Variables params is unused. There is a variable with the same name in the context. Use the pin operator to match it, or prefix the variable with an underscore if it's not. Okay. So my old one of my monitors, the one that I monitor my emails and have my work chat and stuff like that, is vertical. That's the only thing I really enjoy. That's the only thing I like doing vertical monitor for is that one's purely for, work chat, Discord, emails, where vertical orientation it provides more information on more information. Otherwise, I can't use vertical for anything else. It has to be text, basically. So the one on my right over here is vertical orientation. And also my desk is not, at least my desk setup's not big enough to support like having them all horizontal comfortably, because the ultra wide just takes over everything. I'm curious how I did stuff on these over here, if I did do anything. Because I want to stay consistent. Or try to at least. Yeah, this is my first time. I never used Power Tools before, but after getting it and setting up custom layouts, I'm in love with it. Ooh, you got your hands on Power Tools, eh? I haven't had a chance to play with Power Tools on my PC because I do all my development on a Mac. But I have it bookmarked and I've taken a look at it, and there's a lot of nice things in Power Tools for to really do power user stuff on Windows. So I think I'm just gonna do. I think I'm just gonna pass in params like this. And just let it up to the user to decide what they want to do with the params. What I will do though is declare that these params, so start cursor, and this is going to be a string t, and do this as a page size integer t. Snap is so much better than the Windows 11 snap layouts. Nice. Yeah, I use this tool called, I've had this software called Divi for a while now. And what it does is it lets you, it's not snapping, not exactly, but allows you to resize your windows using this nice little grid layout. It's not a free application like Power Tools is, but it's still super nice. And it both works on both Windows and Mac, which is why I have it. Trying to understand what's going on, what this is complaining about. Um, let's see here. Oh yeah, because the spec doesn't match the signature. That's what it's complaining about. So that should play nicer. Let me delete the cassette, the recording of this request that's being sent. And let me hide my screen while we test this. And I forgot to set the params. So it failed because I was silly when I redid this and I made this into a variable, but I forgot to just default to an empty map. So it was failing. Try this again. One more time. Ooh, got an error that leaked the key. Did not match any current requests. So delete this. Try this one more time because I forgot to delete the cassette. There we go. Now we're back to the passing test. And then this has a typing for the return value, but we're just going to leave that alone. Okay, we need a return type. Fair enough, fair enough. So the type is just going to be a map. So what's this complaining about? So function will call, not succeed, retrieve, blah, 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 breaks contract. Hmm. It's complaining because this is not matching. Tree has no local return. Thought this would have been fine. I'm curious about this. Let's say any for this. So it can return back anything. I wonder if because it's an empty map that it's complaining about. Because it's not complaining about this one. So it has to be this default right here. Here I'm curious about because the start cursor and page size are not required. So I am curious We have to do an or, I think, basically. It can be that or, oh, you know what? I know how we do this. We can do different two different matchers, really? Can we do that? Because we want to be strict about this. So you see how like here's these different. Yeah, so it would be tree block do yeah, I'm trying to remember how I did this before. Because if nothing gets passed in, then we can just call tree block children block ID with empty params. This typing here goes here. Actually, that's not going to work because this. Curious to see what dialyzer says. See, we have two different specs here. Integer is compatible with success types. Let me look at a different article. Let's look at the official docs. So that's the thing I was originally thinking about is defining a type for just paging. Hey, how's it going, Lacoste? How are you this Friday? Do 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 do. We're gonna go back all the way because I just might be overthinking things. And then we can say or, I believe. What about you? I'm doing pretty good. It's Friday, so it feels good, man. We're just gonna keep this contract here. And my screen just to make sure. And we'll work on that later. What the hell is Zeal? Zeal is the company I work for, so we are doing our Zeal stream here on this channel for a change. So we put the nice little stamp up there it's a Zeal stream. So we're working on Zeal projects for fun on the Friday. So you get to see my fuzzy mug on the weekday during early hours. So we'll stick with this for now. But this works. This does exactly what it needs to do. It does that, and it will fetch information. Append block to children. So this is going to be interesting. What does Zeal do? So Zeal, we are a web development company, and basically we're a consultancy. So you hire us, and we will become a part of your team. And let's see. We'll help with design, planning, building, the whole shebang, all the way through. And we're a different sort of consultancy because we are not outsourcers. We don't just go, you don't just hire us and we just go off and build applications for your team. Nope. I work for a tiny company. We're maybe 16 to 20 people in total. So we do we do development, mentoring. We also have a residency program, so that if your organization is having difficulty finding, hiring, and training developers, or if you know of an organization, a company that wants to start their own engineering to hire their own in-house engineers, we do have a residency program to assist with that and level up Software. So it's the software residency. That's what it is. Software residency. So this is it. So what happens with the software residency? Where do you source clients? I don't have to worry about that because I'm an engineer. But the owners, the founders, source engineers either through word of mouth. I think for the most part it's through referrals and word of mouth. Adam Cuppy, he is the person that goes out and does tons of conferences. He is one of the organizers for RubyConf, and he does a lot of speaking engagements and stuff like that. So they are the ones that go out and get the source the clients, but it's a lot. I know it's a lot through referrals and through their activities at conferences and speaking engagements like that. Yeah, I'm actually a senior mentor, so this month will be the final month of being involved with the very first resident for the software residency. So I was the one that was paired up with the resident for the company. So for the past year, he's been receiving direct one-on-one mentoring and pairing and working together to get him from going from bootcamp knowledge to regular full-fledged engineer, can work on their own, independent, and get stuff done. And that's what the residency program's about. Just like with other type of you can kind of think about it kind of like with like doctor residencies, or even like on the job type of like training that you like more technical, or not technical, but more what do you call it? Like construction and all those other types of more the hands-on type of jobs. Cool. We're running short on time, so let's try to knock out one more endpoint, which is the append children to block. Let's go for that one. Or should we try to let's see what's going to be easier. Update block. What does update block do? Identifier for the Notion block type. The value with the property to be updated. Currently only text, support for block types. Set to true. And then updates the content for the specified block ID based on the block type. Supported fields based on the block type. All right, for available fields expected. Note that the update replaces the entire value for the given field. If the field is omitted in the checked, the value will not be changed. So I might want to just update a child block, then update an entire page is what I'm thinking. So that hello world, we can try to update that hello world block to say something else. We can find the ID of that from here in the body, I think. Object list results, object block. This is the ID to it right here. That's it. You do anything you get any interesting work done for the week, Lacoste? Or are you looking for anything specific exciting for the weekend potentially? So how are you going to do this? It's pretty awesome. Nice. I think soon I'm gonna try to play with Remix. If you've seen that on the Twitterverse for the new all-in-one full stack JavaScript development framework with React. Remix. And Supabase soon. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna try tackling Remix. We might try tackling Remix. You know that it went free? Yeah, it did. It did, which is why I'm thinking about tackling it. I'm not sure. You don't know what makes it special? Um, I'm not exactly sure either, but I know they have it's they do a lot of from what I gather, they have a lot of built-in stuff to make things really easy for you to do um pretty advanced back-end rendering of JavaScript and pushing it to the front end. But that's where playing around with it is going to come in handy. So I'm not sure if I'm going to play around with it on the Friday stream, on the Zeal stream, or if we're going to play around with it on the weeknight streams. I have yet to decide that. We'll figure that out once we finish this project here. So updating this is going to be interesting because I guess I have to do this full block here, block object. Oh, here we go. This is how we do the update. So we do to do text. Interesting. So that to do text content. Let's look at the block object for a paragraph. Here's a paragraph block. So it's just content. So our block object is the paragraphed object. And then we're just going to update the text. Show code. Good point. So we pass in this information, but we're going to be doing it for the paragraph. So let's implement this. Def update block. So update block is the thing we're going to be passing in. So it's going to be the block ID and the body params. And this is block ID. Let's follow the roughly the thing we wanted to do. This is a patch. Interesting code spaces. Now, have we done anything in the past fancy for this? So this is pretty generic. So I think body params is just good enough to pass through. And do I recommend Elixir to the mentees? Not really, because the people that I've helped mentor, they're already super involved in Ruby and JavaScript. So I am wary to, I don't want to overload their brains anymore. Learning another language on top of something that you're already trying to figure out is already a lot to ask for, or a lot of overload, and a lot of just like tugging at what they feel, what they perceive is a lot of work they need to get done. I have had conversations about Elixir and talk about how it's good after you get comfortable with your current language to go and start branching out and playing with another language or playing with another framework, because it expands your knowledge more, because you start to think about things, you start to see other approaches, other implementations, and it allows you a wider swath of knowledge, and also I feel like creates more thought-provoking ideas of like why certain things are implemented the way they are. That's the one thing people forget, is like a lot of people that are just starting off, they're already overwhelmed, and it's just like, let them learn to code. Just let them learn to code. Let them get good at the thing that they're trying to learn at, and then you can encourage them to go jump in and look at something else, because then they get the mental exercise of mind mapping of one idea to another potential idea, and bringing back that knowledge they learned from another framework, another language, and bring it into the language. You're at the limit of a mental capacity at the moment. I know. I mean, it is a thing. I'm not gonna, even though there's a kappa there, it is there is some truth to that. All right, so what we want to do is we want to update the paragraph block. So I'm going to take this. So we'll see how this goes. Paragraph. Hello. We're gonna say hello Doge. So we're gonna try to update this to say hello Doge. I look at Rust, for example, but I can't force myself to sit down and learn the basics because it's just so different. At some point I will. I tried to sit down and practice a little bit ago, and I just, I studied a little bit. I did some like intro, like hello world-ish type stuff, but I haven't picked it up since, because it's like you need a good excuse to build something in the language. I guarantee you, until you can find a project that you want to do that is great to do in Rust, you're probably not gonna go and pick up Rust again. The reason I learned Elixir is because I needed to rewrite the string closed captioner, and I've been wanting to learn Elixir, so I'm like, you know what? Let's just pull the trigger. Let's go dive into Elixir and rewrite the whole thing. And that's how I got Elixir in the brain, because otherwise I wouldn't have had the bandwidth to do it. Otherwise, I would not have had the bandwidth to do it. All right, let's run the test again. Hide my screen just in case. I do have syntax errors. I just realized, because I just copied and pasted this right here. So this should not be, let's see. We got to delete all of these quotes around this. There we go. Now we will run this again. There's another syntax error. Because I forgot to put percentages on these maps right here. Percent. That's the one thing I always forget to do when I'm copy and pasting code. All right. Hey, well, it passes. So the test passed. We didn't get a failure for doing that update block request. Let's see if that actually did update the block. It did. It said hello Doge. That actually worked, but we're not actually confirming whether that worked or not. So we need to get the response back and validate that the response is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Or we need to validate that it went from hello world to Doge. So we'll do that here. Let's see. So it's going to be the block, and then so you don't have to worry about this. So we can immediately get in paragraph. So we got in paragraph, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to run this test again. Let me hide my screen real quick. Undefined method get in. Right. All right. So our test did fail, like we were expecting, because we expected for this to say hello world, but really it says hello Doge. Let's update that. And now it says hello Doge. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to set it back to hello world again, because we're using this workspace to test all our different tests, so we need to bring it back to the original way it was, which was hello world like this. So we switch it back to hello world, and then we can assert that it goes back to hello world here. And I will need to set a parameter, because we're doing 2 requests in our cassette. So I need to go and look that up. Here we go. Match requests with the body. Otherwise, it's just going to do the one single cassette recording, and then it's not going to pay attention to the other subsequent request. So it's matching based off the body of the request. So I am going to have to delete the update. True, but it's also a choice. Selecting a project that forces you to learn new stuff. Yeah. I guess right now, because advent of, if you want to participate in the advent of code, this is the perfect opportunity to try to learn a new language by trying to solve the advent of code problems in said language. That's a good challenge right there. Alrighty, let me run this again. And it passes. Nice. Cool. So other than like loose ends of like documentation and stuff like that, we've knocked out retrieve, both the retrieves and the update. Next thing we need to knock out is append and delete. And so delete's probably going to be really straightforward, to be honest. Really, really straightforward. Append is going to be really straightforward, most likely. And then onto the user stuff and search. And then what we can do is we can audit the whole interface of the application and see where we can make improvements, usability improvements to make interacting with the Notion API easier through the package. But that is it for me. Let's go ahead and commit these changes. Implement, block, retrieve, and update. It was great to get back to streaming since we were away for a little bit because of the holidays and other commitments. So I'm glad to be at it. And thank you for everyone for lurking on today's stream, whether stopping by and just saying hello or giving it a lurk. Greatly appreciate you. So we'll try to keep this. Look forward to another Friday afternoon stream. And I hope to have you around then also. But I'll see you on the Sunday stream. So I hope you have a good and wonderful rest of your week. And I will catch you next time. All right, everyone? Be easy. Bye.